Hello, this is Steve at Universal Devices with a tutorial on the ELK module. The ELK module is a powerful optional module available from Universal Devices that allows your ISY to integrate tightly with an ELK security system. With this module, you are able to control your ELK system and run programs based on the status of the devices connected to your ELK system. This gives you the ability to tightly integrate your security system and your home automation system. In this tutorial, I'm going to go over some of the potential uses of the ELK module and the ISY. Keep in mind that these examples are relatively basic and can be expanded upon. I kept them simple to maintain the clarity in the video. You can use these examples to build upon and customize to your specific environment. The first example I'm going to go over is how to display text on your ELK keypad. This is useful in many different scenarios. One of our active forum members showed us how he was using the feature to show the outside temperature on his keypads. This requires the WeatherBug module for this to work. However, you can adapt this to display anything such as reminders or special days. With the ELK module, we are able to display custom notifications on keypads connected to the ELK system. This allows us to do many different things, such as to display reminders to take out the trash or to announce special holidays. The first thing we need to do to display text on the keypad is to create a custom notification. To do that, go to Configuration, Emails and Notifications, and you want to click on the Customizations tab. Now what we need to do is click the Add button right down at the bottom of the screen. Now we need to give this custom notification a name. I like to put ELK at the beginning of all my notifications, just so I know it's for the ELK system. And then since this is going to be for weather, I'm going to put weather. Now we're going to go ahead and customize the content. Now one thing to keep in mind with the ELK is that there is only so much room to be displayed on the display keypad. So we need to keep our subject here relatively short, otherwise it's going to be truncated. Now the subject is actually what gets displayed on the keypad. The body is ignored. So I'm going to do something simple as out temp. And I'm going to actually put the actual temperature. We're going to go ahead and add a variable. You can put anything you want here. As you can see, I'm using a variable, so you have many different variables to choose from. You can put the temperature high, you can put what it feels like, you can put the humidity, or anything you'd like to put there. You're also able to put alerts, different alerts, such as, door left open, your garage door is left open, or something like that. So now that I've put my temperature in here, I'm going to click OK. And now I've got my custom notification. We have to be sure we save it. The next thing we need to do is make a program to actually put this notification in the ELK keypad. So now that we've written our customized content that we want to display on the ELK keypad, we need to write a program that actually puts the text on the keypad. To do that, we're going to go to Programs, and then New Program. Now you can call this program whatever you want. I'm going to again call it ELK Weather. Now we need to set our conditions, and we want to set it on a schedule. We want to run this program for 24 hours a day, so we'll go ahead and click Schedule. We'll say time is from. We'll say we'll start this at 1 a.m. And we'll do it for 24 hours. So we'll go ahead and put 24 hours in the box here, and we'll add this to the if statement. So now this program is going to run for 24 hours. We want to go ahead and repeat this every 5 minutes. So we'll go ahead and choose an action of repeat, and we'll set this for 5 minutes. Add this to then. Now we actually want to display the text on the keypad. So to do that, we're going to choose ELK under the action menu here. And we're going to go ahead and choose display text on keypad. As you can see, we have multiple actions that we could do with the ELK. For now, we're going to go ahead and display text on keypad. And we're going to choose our content. I only have one thing listed here in the drop-down list because I only created one piece of content, but you can actually go ahead and create multiple content items that you can display on the keypad, such as your announcements. We're going to go ahead and also add this to then, and we're going to go ahead and click Save. And as you can see, here is a view of my keypad. We can see that the text is actually being displayed right on the keypad, and that it is actually the current weather outside here in sunny New England. So now that I've shown you how to display text on your ELK keypad, I wanted to show you how to use the sensors connected to your ELK security system to turn on the lights in your home when you walk in. How many times have you walked into your house with your hands full when it's dark out with no hands available to turn a light on? Well, we can use the ELK security system and your ISY to turn your lights on for you. There are many ways you can do this. We can use a motion sensor attached to your ELK system, or we can use the magnetic sensor in the door, or we can use a combination of the two. Let me show you both methods. So the first method I'm going to show you is how to use a motion sensor attached to your ELK security system to turn the lights on. And to do that, we need a new program. So I'm going to go to the Programs tab. I'm going to create a new program. Now we can name this anything you want, but I like to call it again ELK, and then we're going to call this Entry Lights. Now we need to choose our conditions. Our conditions would be that when our motion sensor is violated, we want to turn on lights. So we're going to go ahead and choose ELK, and which zone is going to go ahead and trigger the lights to be on or off. In our case, it's the office motion because I only have one motion sensor attached to my ELK security system. And the status is obviously violated. You have many other options here, but the violated is what we'd want to use because that means it's been tripped. So we're going to go ahead and add that to our if statement. Now we can do a couple other things here. For instance, we don't want the lights to turn on when it is during the day. So we can go ahead and set a schedule. And we're going to go ahead and say the time is from. And let's say we want the lights to turn on from sunset to sunrise. So we're going to go ahead and choose sunset. And I like to have the lights turn on for 30 minutes before sunset and for 30 minutes before or after sunrise. So we're going to go ahead and enter 30 here. And we want to choose the next day because obviously you are passing midnight, so it's the next day. We're going to add this to our if statement as well. So now this program won't be tripped unless our office motion is violated and the time frame is 30 minutes before sunset or 30 minutes after sunrise on the next day. Now we need to choose what happens when this program is tripped. And in our case, we want the entry lights to be turned on. As you can see, I have a scene here called entry lights that I want to turn on, so that's all set. So we're going to go ahead and add that to then. Now, if this is not tripped, we want the program to leave entry lights off. So we're going to go ahead and choose entry lights off and add that to else. And we're going to go ahead and save changes. So now this program will turn on my lights when the office motion is violated, and it is within this time frame. A more precise method of controlling the lights with your ELK and an ISY is to use a magnetic sensor that you may have installed in your door. Now in most ELK systems, a magnetic sensor is simply another zone. So in this case, we can reuse this program. So what we're going to do is copy this program, and we'll simply call this one Entry Lights Magnetic. Now of course you can call it whatever you want. And I'm going to swap this zone out with a front door sensor, which happens to be a magnetic sensor that I have installed in my door. I'm going to click Update. We can save changes. Now, as the program stands, this program will work without a problem. However, there's one minor issue, and that is if this program happens to run during this time, the lights are going to turn on anyways, regardless of whether you're in your house or not. So what we can do to bypass that is to use a motion sensor that I also have attached to the ELK. And what that'll allow us to do is basically detect whether the motion sensor is tripped or not. If the motion sensor is tripped, we'll know not to turn the lights on. But if the motion sensor is not tripped and the front door is violated, then we'll know that you're coming from the outside and that it is okay to turn the lights on. So what I'm going to do is add my office motion sensor back in, and we want to say is not violated. And we're going to go ahead and add that to the if statement, and we'll go ahead and we'll move this up. So basically this is saying if the office motion sensor is not violated, but the front door is violated and the time is in this time frame, we're going to go ahead and turn the entry lights on. If not, we're going to leave them off. So we're going to go ahead and click Save. So that's it. These were just a few examples of what you can use the ELK module for. Please stay tuned for updates to this video for more examples.